It's Joel. Anybody else here?
Hi, Joel. Desiree is here.
Hey, Desiree, how you doing?
Hi, how are you? Good. How are you?
Long time no see.
All right. Nice to see you again. We have we have some applicants online as well.
Oh, good, good, good.
Yes.
Okay. Desiree, I've talked to Terry. I've got a friend who's in serious condition at a hospital. I'm her power of attorney, medical power of attorney, and her docs may be calling me during the time of our meeting.
Okay.
I'll have to leave the meeting for 5 minutes, then I'll join back in. I'll
Okay.
talk to them on the phone and then I'll come back into the meeting. So if I
Okay.
disappear, that's the reason why.
All right. Thanks for letting me know. Sorry to hear about your friend. Hope they're
Yeah,
okay.
she's got 9 units of blood. It's internal bleeding.
Oh no.
She's had count them, three colonoscopies and two endoscopies. But they think they found it. It's a malignant tumor that they're going to go in and cut out this afternoon, but they want to tell me about the procedure. So it
Okay.
looks like she'll be on the mend. Good.
Yeah. Hope for the best.
Hope for the best. Exactly. That's what we can do. Thanks. Good deal.
Okay.
Hi, can you guys hear me? Yes,
Okay.
no?
This is Joel. I can.
Okay, good. It was, yeah, with the particular way this app comes in, makes me do a lot of hoops, so. Anyway, so we have Terry, Joel, Savannah. Is Andrew on, or I just don't see him yet?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, great, thank you.
I'm in the car though, just heads up, so I won't be on video, but I'm here.
Okay, great, thank you. Before we get going, Desiree, we just need to mention that Joel's in a situation where he has to pop off for a brief medical thing for someone. So he will let us know when he's leaving, and it shouldn't be very long before he comes back. Does that make sense?
That's right, Terry. Thanks.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're okay. I think we're ready to, do we have all of our applicants here?
We have, yes, we have Joseph Maher. And we may have a request from Christina to move up the AD. I think she's on. Just want to get a time check with her schedule.
Yeah, why don't you find out from her and then you can chat with me or whatever and let me know, and we can, like, do we put it at the beginning or do we put it like after a few of the cases, or what, or let her know when we are ready for her, or what do you think?
Okay. She said she needs to be off by 2:30.
Oh, well, yeah, most of us would like to be off by 2:30. So, is
But
she okay with us
she's
going on
here.
2:30? Oh, hi,
So I don't
Christina.
know if, I don't know if you want to weigh in, Christine, if you're okay with the agenda as is, or would you like us to
I'm okay if
readjust?
that's how the agenda went out. I just hadn't seen the agenda. So, and that's on me. I didn't look at it. So I'm okay. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, but just let us know if your time gets tight, Christina, and we can, we can see what we can do. Okay, before I call the meeting to order, I'd like to ask all applicants, whether you're on the phone or on video or whatever, please put your full name and what name you're associated with, because sometimes we get names that aren't associated, with the little box that Zoom shows us, and then put your affiliation, please, in the chat. That's very helpful to us. Saves a lot of time. Thank you. So go ahead, and the recording's on, and I'll go ahead and start the meeting then, if you're ready, Desiree.
Yes.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This is the Thursday, October 9th, 2025, Tucson Pima County Historical Commission Plans Review Subcommittee meeting, called to order at 1:04 p.m. And I'll do roll call in just a second. Terry Majewski is here. Savannah McDonald.
Here.
Joel Ireland.
He
Joel?
just walked away.
Sorry, here. Sorry, here.
Okay. Andrew Christopher.
Here.
Great, thank you. Okay, item 2 is the review and approval of the 9/11/25 and the 9/25/2025 legal action report / minutes. Could I have a motion to approve both as submitted, please? Is there a second?
I'll
Second. Let Andrew second.
Okay, so Savannah, Andrew, is there any discussion of those minutes? Or LAR / minutes? If not, I'll call roll. Terry votes aye. Andrew?
Aye.
Joel?
Aye.
Savannah?
Aye.
Great, they are both approved 4-0 unanimously. Thank you. Item 3 is summary of public comments. Were any submitted by the posted deadline, Desiree?
No, there were no public comments submitted.
Great, thank you. Okay, item 4, historic preservation zone review cases, and we review these under UDC section 5.8/TSM 9-02.0 Historic District Design Guidelines and revised Secretary of the Interior Standards and Guidelines. Case 4A is SD 0525 00081/TC-RES 0325-01580 at 724 North Second Avenue. This is parcel 11703360. And I'll let Desiree go ahead and introduce the case, please.
Thank you, Chair Majewski. So this item has come before you once before, and the item was continued. This is 724 North 2nd Avenue, and we do have Mr. Joseph Maher here to present the changes that were made. We worked with the applicant, I think, on maybe 2 rounds of updates to the plans. So we're bringing it back to you today for a second review. And I'm going to, Mr. Maher, would you like to drive and show your screen, or would you like me to show my screen with the plans, and then you can just direct me how you'd like to?
I'd prefer that you show it in your screen. That'd be easier for sure.
Sounds
Then I
good.
can focus my attention on kind of describing things and answering any questions, etc. Sure. Thank you.
Sounds good. Let me just adjust the size here. Okay.
Susan Milholland is with me also in this presentation, and I want to thank you all for donating your time on these committees. I've done a lot of committees myself here in Tucson, done a lot of them over the years. Historic preservation has been a favorite of mine for several decades, pushing mayor and council to save the Fox Theater. We thought it would help motivate and renovate downtown, and it did. It was wonderful. Saved the temple a week before it was going to be demoed and made into a law office. Hacienda del Sol County doesn't care about historic, so I had a realtor that was handling it, and she called me about it. We helped save that before it was demoed. So I've been pretty active here the last several years in terms of historic preservation. And so this is a very difficult house that we're trying to address in terms of what's the detailing that's that is in bad shape. And foolishly, I am the architect. I'm to blame for any changes or unusual things that we've missed or what have you, or misunderstandings. But in reviewing the paperwork, the comments we received, the latest ones, 9, 10, 25, and then my response letter, I'd like to think that we've gotten everything taken care of that is critical in terms of setbacks, heights. I actually redid the entire elevation sheet. And so just to make sure that anything and everything was covered. And so I did not cloud it, because it basically went over the entire sheet and then submitted previously enlarged elevations and a little to Ms. Desiree to submit to distribute, so that it would be easier to understand what's what and which direction, which elevation we're talking about. And that small scale is kind of tough. And I'm not a fan of Zoom either, where you can shift things around and look at various drawings. A little old fashioned. So I don't recall, other than the elevations, commented on that being having most of the comments. Describe some things for the roof plan. The roof plan is just schematic. It's not meant to be a construction drawing, just to illustrate what's going on with no details. The demo plan really meant for my structural engineer and for the contractor to understand that we're demoing the interior, and that there are a few main things that the structural engineer pursued over 2 months, going there every week to get into that building and figure out how we can save it without demoing. Well, we definitely weren't going to demo the floor, but demoing the roof and starting over. And he was able to figure it out, and we saved the original wall that's between the east and western portions, the eastern portion being the newest, with that shed roof or flat roof that it has. And then the pitched roof is the main house which, as I say, all of that's going to be saved. I've even had my contractor up there looking at that roof, and so we're going to reinforce it, etc. Let's see, a little confusion on the windows. My apologies. I just kind of used the window local Olander's listing. He does a lot of historic buildings in town. Heck, the other day he mentioned that he did the 2 dorms on campus too, and did them from the inside, so they didn't have to scale up that building. That was pretty outstanding. So I'm looking over the list. I don't know if there's another item that's still in question or a major item of concern or questions. Happy to answer any questions and try and hopefully describe what's here so we can hopefully get out of your hair. Thank you very much.
Terry, can I ask a quick question? It's Joel.
Sure, go ahead, Joel.
And I'm sorry, I just missed it. What is the address of this house?
724 North 2nd Avenue.
724 North 2nd Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Right.
by my house. Yeah, okay, go ahead. Yeah. Good, thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
so do we need to review how he's addressed the items we ask him to come back for, item by item, or how should we do this, commissioners?
I think that'd be
think
helpful.
that would be nice. Yeah.
Yeah. I vaguely remember, but it's been a minute.
Okay, do you have that written down anywhere, Desiree? Like, do we have some notes? I thought Andrew sent them. Or we have them there or somewhere. I can't see, it's very small.
Yes.
Do you want me to read off the list of comments to you?
Yeah, maybe if you can kind of read them off and then go through.
Yeah, I have it in front of me, the 9-10 listing. I can read them off to you. We can go one by one.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
if you can just tell us how you're addressing each comment as we go.
Some of
That'd be
them
great.
pretty simple. The first one, I had a note on the plans, and you guys preferred that I actually do drawings rather than have notes, a notation about the setbacks. So I don't know where I doesn't say where I put that, but I took that notes off. Any notes I took off, and we did graphics illustrating with arrows what's going on the elevations and anything else. Number 2 and 3 talking about a variance for the side yards or for the disabled ramp and the walls, the screen walls for ACs. There's no variance needed for small walls. Heck, we can put a 6-foot wall on the property line. There's no variance. There's no setbacks for those types of things. What have you? Screening did show this. Number 4 was screening for AC units. We did that in all the drawings and labeled it's stucco masonry with colors to match the building. And number 5, we got into 5 and 6, also talking about the elevations in terms of providing more information. I constantly missed the ADA ramp, the end of the ADA ramp on that south elevation. I put that in there. And in the new elevations I also showed a view of the back of the east side of the master, which is the area in between the house and the garage, where the ramp is. So showed the ramp in between the 2 building portions, what have you on that elevation. And also, layers are great as long as you don't turn off the layers in the CAD. So I turned off the layers, I think, when I was doing some changes. So number 7, I put back in the chimneys everywhere on all the elevations. And so the 8, 9, 10, and 11 redo the elevation as best as possible, hitting everything, making sure everything is shown, windows, doors, and as I say, did an enlarged set of them and sent previously that I hope you got. Let's see, 13, I've got too much scribble on my notes on here. In the south elevation, I had to fix that easternmost window that we did. The west elevation, there's always been that question about the rehab treatment of the stucco. Unfortunately, this is my nickname by my contractors. My nickname is Field Verified. Done a lot of renovation work, a lot of houses, and so some things you can't detail, some things you can't describe in drawings. It's simply you and the contractors in the field and fixing it. And that, if you had come out to see it, the stucco on the building is different, at least 5 different textures as well as in 5 or 6 different conditions. So we got to figure out on site what we do. Take it off completely, redo it, scrape it a little bit, what have you, to make it happen. And so that's a field thing we have to do. Color elevations was Susan's department, and knowing some of the regulations. And so she is also here. She took care of the number 14 as the, number 15 is the color elevations. Door and window schedule, we did address those things. It took off the field verify stuff on there, but I did comment on 16 and 17 that about the doors and windows, that the 3-foot door, which I don't believe that's what we have. Looks like it's a couple inches short and in terrible repair, disrepair. So it's got to be replaced. And it needs to be 3 foot per the codes, per the disabled code, per the home design ordinance, etc. What have you. And also 3 foot enough so he can actually drive that wheelchair in. I have a friend that's got one of those very large motorized wheelchairs, and it really does, even though the code says 32-inch door, there's no way that's going to happen because a 32-inch door is only 31 inches wide. So it's got to be 3-foot door for him to get in. And it is flush, which is also part of the code, flush with the level out on that porch. Let's see here. Roof plan. Again, just tried to add some information that might be easier. This is a very simple plan with arrows that show the drainage of how the water goes on the existing pitched roof, which is being retained at tremendous expense, although it's cheaper than replacing it. It'll drop down onto the, actually it's seamless between the pitched roof and the existing east addition down to that flat roof on the south side. But the renovation, remodeling, or replacement on the north side of parapet roofs, it's either going to go over the top of the parapet, or we create some scuppers to go into those roofs, and then they have scuppers that dump out onto the ground. And there's details I have that suggest how that's done. But again, one of those things that field verification to figure out whether we're taking it over the top or setting up scuppers to hit those. And I found out recently that I have some new codes, perhaps for back east, that they don't want clogged gutters or clogged scuppers. I'm thinking this must be for back east for all the leaves, because we don't really have tons of leaves, and so they don't like the way the old what I used to call the gutter and downspout and gutter that had a hood on it with an overflow spout through it. Those are not allowed. They don't feel that those are so significant. And so we may have to do other things to comply with that code, although Stantec did not address it necessarily. We'll see when we go through the revisions from all the things that you guys want us to do. And so it ends up being a couple of scuppers for the water flow on the roof, and a couple raised scuppers in case we have a flood on top of that roof, a couple inches above it, so that the scuppers will take that flood water off of it. But it's a little overkill. These don't get clogged. We don't have the leaves like back east where you have all the things. So I think, what was number 20? The demolition plan. Yeah, the arrows went to comments that hopefully I thought they were pretty simple comments on the demolition plan, number 20, that just talked about what we're trying to do, either in that particular segments in there with dash line boxes around the areas, a box line around that center wall that goes north and south. That was the original wall, east wall of the original home. And they just added on with or without permits to the east. My structural engineer, and spending 2 months going back and forth, he said there's a footing he wants me to keep, what have you. And then also that back where they had the recessed area on the south side where you went to 2 doors to go to these rooms, all these rooms, these 4 rooms that were there done without permits, but they got addresses, was pretty interesting, official addresses. So that's that area where wanted me to also do some work in that area structurally wise. If I recall correctly, that particular area wanted there was a desire for a little bit of accent on the fenestration and the outside of the south elevation to show that there was sort of a recess at one time. And I think I did a pop out on that. So just to kind of reflect that. So hoping that covered it all, and it's, as they say, clear as mud. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And who would like to begin with questions or comments?
Jerry,
I
this-
can
hold on.
start. Oh, go ahead, Joe.
Savannah's much more knowledgeable. Please go.
Well, since you just last mentioned it, on the on your new south elevation, I don't see that arched opening indicated. We had talked about having.
Well, this
You know,
isn't the
kinda-
revised, this one isn't the revised elevation.
Oh. What Desiree is showing is also, I think, what we received.
So I guess you did not receive the revised one, as well as the 4 pages of enlarged elevations. Actually, it was 5 pages of enlarged, 4 pages of enlarged elevations.
This was the latest version that I had that was shared. Is it not the correct version?
No, because that one's still missing the the end of that ramp on that south side. You basically see the end of it coming down from the door up above in the back.
Okay. These were the ramp elevations that you sent later, but this full packet was the most recent one you had submitted. So if
This
that's
is
not
the
the right
complete-
one,
This is the complete. Do you guys have an email? I can send it to you.
let's see. This is, yeah, 18 pages. Let's see. I mean, I can
Oh,
open
that's
up,
it, right? There it is. There we
Right.
go. This is the one where I redid it, and also, as I say, on the east side of the master suite, which is between the existing building and the new garage, I show the ramp, right, that comes down from above on a little landing area, and then finally put in. That's the one thing I kept forgetting was the end of the ramp on the south elevation. Basically, the ramp. I usually, when things are that minor, I usually delete them and for clarity for other things going on up in that area. So that's why I did not show that. Got rid of the darn too much verbiage down there in the corner. And then if this is what I submitted to Desiree after the facts, thank you so much for helping. Is I had 4 pages where I enlarged these particular elevations so it'd be a little clearer for everybody and on individual pages, and so that we knew what was going on. Because as I say, with all due respect, I did not cloud it because there'd be so much clouding you wouldn't see anything. I thought about clouding the entire sheet, but I thought that'd be too hilarious and what have you. But then, yeah, so I enlarged these various individual elevations so you'd be a little bit more clear than trying to see it in that one sheet. Obviously, I'm used to submitting an entire set of plans and presenting 24 by 36 inch to a group.
So I think the previous page you were on, Desiree, with with all of the elevations, and it shows the south elevation. Yeah. So I think this was what Savannah was referencing, is we're not seeing on the new south elevation, we're not seeing the indication of that arch.
Too many layers. That can be added easily. Obviously, we need to make revisions to the construction drawings on some of these things for sure. So that'll have to happen for sure.
But you were saying you popped it out instead of in, is that? But it's
Well, there was
it's the
there was-
infill.
Yes,
And-
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but there was no suggestion that it had to be one way or the other than just some sort of fenestration to suggest that opening with the 2 arched sides, the ends on it, what have you. And so I did kind of I think I did an 8-inch pop out that is in the same shape for the most part. That window, of course, went away. There's no window there. That was in the middle between. And but too many layers. I must have turned that one off.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I think as you're describing, it's hard for me to imagine it popped out. So I think we'd need to see, I would like to better understand what you're proposing there.
Do you understand what I mean by a pop out? It's about 8 inches wide and then 4 inches popping out from the face of the stucco in that configuration. I don't see us recessing it. That would these are masonry walls, and I think I'm gonna duplicate it with masonry and then a fur out on the inside. And so it would be easier if it's framed, but it would still be a pop out. Unless you have another idea that I'm missing.
You're meaning just create like a line of it, or the pop, you're
It would
infilling the
be,
wall, right? So you're gonna infill the wall and then you're gonna add 8 inches to the outside
there
where
would
you've
be
infilled it?
in the shape, the shape of that air, that entire pop out is you know, it goes up vertically and then has a top portion that has two rounded sides. It would be in
Mhm.
that shape, but it would be 6 inches wide as a pop out and about 4 inches popping out from the main surface. That's a pop out.
Yeah, I mean, what we usually or like to see is kind of just have a little evidence of the original. So it sounds like you're recreating it. You're like kind of like rebuilding a wall and then recreating it when really we're just looking for just like a little like a control joint, or often we see it recessed just so you can see the original. That's all. I think that's
Recess
just a
how far?
little
Recess how far?
an inch. It can be really subtle.
All right. I think a pop out will be seen better, but we can recess it, sure.
Okay. Well, I'm not against the pop out. I couldn't quite understand how it was revealing
That's
the
okay. My
original.
apologies. That's yeah, my apologies.
That's okay.
This
Um,
building, the funny thing is this building has no pop outs. Not even in the brick. Well, in the front facade, that does have some brick pop outs and brick detailing, but other than not in the stucco anywhere. So that's fine.
right.
I think you're correct. Recess it because there are no pop outs on the stucco, but there is on the front elevation, the west elevation. The brick has some subtle pop outs using the brick with different coursing.
Yeah.
This Joel, I agree with Savannah, just a subtle, yeah, I don't like the pop out, but I like the subtle just indentation, right? Is that
Like a
what
Okay.
you
recess,
got, Savannah?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
I think so. I mean, I don't want to impose on your design. It's I just want you to
Yeah.
understand why we care about it. We like to see kind of the original story of the building, not covered up. So that's all. And that just leads me to my second question, which is the ADA ramp on the north. So that is, I mean, I think originally it was you had a solid wall on it, so it sort of um blocked the side of the view of the house from the side. And so I think our comment was if you could open up or make a more open railing to that edge of the ramp so we could still see the building. And so I can't quite understand what you've done. Is it kind of half and half where you built half of it as a wall and half of it as railing?
That's what I did because this is specifically for a person in a motorized wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
However, with the half and half design, the railing, the fence, the iron part on top can have a handrail on it for people walking up it if they decide to do that. And of course, this is a combination. I probably shouldn't have done that. My apologies. It's a combination of a construction drawing because you really don't see, unfortunately, the A mountain rock that is on the face of the building because we put this ramp in front of it. Now the ramp is actually away from the building, so the rock will not go away. As you walk up or tootle up the ramp, you can look down at the separation between the ramp and the existing house. So you will see the A mountain rock that's down there, but I've kind of shown it in a light color or light dash that there is rock there. We're not taking off and what have you, that you can still see it as you walk by and look down towards the house.
Got it. Okay, so we're kind of seeing through the wall, but the wall
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
proposing is just a
yeah.
stucco wall. It's not recreating or
It,
anything, the
it's
salt
it's
rock.
masonry stucco like the most of the house is a brick stucco, but we're going to use 8-inch masonry. Brick is really, we wouldn't be doing brick, that's for sure. It'd be a masonry, 8-inch masonry, CMU and stucco, but stucco to match the texture and of course painted to match everything.
And that's sort of the same for the ramp matters a little less to us, but the ramp in the back too is just
Mhm.
kind of the same construction detail.
Be the same detail where top of it is wrought iron of some sort with a handrail for normal people and the masonry at the base, so that his heavy duty 300 pounds 300 pound wheelchair, motorized wheelchair, if it hits that wall, it'll scar it for sure, and it'll definitely bend the wrought iron if it was down that low.
Okay,
Sorry,
I think that's
you
a
can
good
go ahead, Andrew,
Okay,
if you want.
I was just gonna say, I think that's a good compromise because we've brought the height of the opaque wall down enough that I think we're not blocking too many of the features of the house. So, um, I'm recalling back to there was a question on where the new garage meets the main house. There's a gap between those structures, and you mentioned there'd be some sort of filler piece that we were asking for some clarity on what the finish of that would be
The
and what it would look like.
the structural engineer is concerned of movement between the existing building and the new garage piece. I mean, it does, if you look at the floor plan, you'll see that it connects to the passageway and the outdoor balcony that takes you to the ramp. And so we're talking about 2 or 3 inches that is a way that it'll have some sort of a flexible metal connection so that it can flex, but you won't see it unless you're on top of the roof because you're talking about 2 parapets there that are combined. So this will be connected between those 2 parapets, and you'd have to be on the roof to see this connection. You won't see it from the ground.
Okay, and then from the ground, how are you addressing the gap on the vertical face of the building? Are you filling that, or are you just leaving that gap open?
I hadn't thought about it, to tell you the truth. We're talking a couple of inches. Basically the stucco itself kind of it'll be rubbing it. They'll have to finish one building before they do the other one to be able to make it happen. So they'll finish one before they build that sidewall to put up, because he intends for it to be a separate building because of structural movement, etc. That the existing is elevated, and of course the garage on the ground because it's a garage to be able to drive into. So it's you're talking an inch or two really in terms of the gap between a couple of stuccoed building portions.
And the construction of the new garage, is that masonry or is that wood
That'll
frame?
be frame stucco to try and save some costs here. We're right now the bids are coming in at eight and 900,000.
Okay. I guess I just don't understand how you plan to weatherproof and finish the outside face of that garage wall when it's only an inch or two away from the adjacent wall.
Talented stucco people.
Okay, okay, all right. That I think that
Remember,
was
they used to hand trowel everything, but they hawk and trowel, they used to hand trowel it all the time, but they came up with a process where they can spray it mostly and then kind of finish a little bit with a hand trowel. So they can spray in there, stucco that, get it done. So it'll be a formal stucco job, what have you, etc. So, and then again, we may decide to pull the building away a foot or two and just do that. I mean, because it is meant to be a separate structure. We got plenty of room on this site, what have you, to make separate structures. Unfortunately, I don't want to get into a zoning where they really want them separated, significantly separated. This is meant to be a structural separation and not meant to be a formal separation between.
okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that might be beneficial to you and the constructability of it. So if you have plenty of room there and we're not up against setbacks, then I think that'd be a good suggestion.
Thank you.
I think I remember, Savannah, we had a question on the front window. It's like there was a question of like 3 versus 4 part window, or maybe it was like casement versus single hung. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, so we had marked up the plans. I was looking back at them as well on the west elevation. I do see that you've added kind of like the 9 the grid of 9 above, but I don't see indication that it's single hung or that it still looks a little bit the wrong proportion. But are those single hung?
We'd have to look at the
Or-
list. That's what the legend is for on the other page. I don't memorize drawings, but I did duplicate the 4 pieces, and of course the style with the 9 panes. I'd be surprised this skinny that it would be a single hung, but I don't. You'll have to bring up the legend and see what we did. Have to go back to the package to get the let's see, I opened up mine. Let's see, where's mine here? Let's see what I have. Come on. What did we do? Here it is. Oh, and oh, that's right. So let's see.
It's the next page.
You want to share your screen? I can make you co-host and then you can, that might be better so you can share and kind of drive. You can go at the bottom. There's a green button that says share. If you have your plans open.
Let's see what I forgot to do. Oh, shoot, went too far. Oh, yes. Oh, okay. Okay, that's what I forgot to do. 11. That's what we have for 11. So it's window 11. Well, it's meant to be, he suggested, the Landers has suggested B. Style B at the top of the sheet that has the door and windows legend and illustrations of the windows. So it's as a center pane and the two sides are appear to fold out. They are, the original windows actually that are there, actually they're like casements, they swing out. And so they're not necessarily single hung. They're single hung on the smaller ones, and then they're a swing out casement. That's what this one has on the front facade, is 2 casements swing out on each side, and then a center fixed window. And that's what we have in the drawings and in the legend with the 9 panes.
The original elevation shows a mullion in the middle. Is that's just been dropped, or?
Well, it's what kind of window would that be?
I don't know. I think I'd just like to see the mullion there still. Just to match
Well,
a little better.
they can obviously put in a mullion, but in my mind, this is the only window in this room that I recall, or at least the main window. Let's see, it really needs to have some light in there. The other window's small. So the ventilation is important, but I think the other small window on the south facade, actually there's 2 small windows on the south facade that I believe are single hung. But this really needs kind of a picture window in front. That's the center, and then 2 side casements, which is what's there right now. Actually, I think all 4 of them fold is what it is, which is a little strange.
But character defining, I think is our point.
Well, I think they can add a mullion for the center portion and still have it as a
You want
picture
it
window.
fixed?
With,
Is that what you mean? Fixed, not operable?
yeah, in the
That's, I
center.
don't think, I don't have a problem with that. You guys don't.
No, that's fine with me. But yeah, I think keeping I agree with Savannah on keeping the proportion of the mullions between the windows is important.
Okay, all right.
Okay, other questions and comments? Joel, do you have anything
Yeah,
to add?
Joel, just real quick, okay?
Okay.
Are the doctors there?
Yes, they are.
Okay, I'm sorry, Terry, I've got to do the doctors, but I had a couple questions. Is this the house that had a back house that was torn down?
Yes,
Okay, and all right, that's all I'll ask. I apologize. I've got to take 5 or 7 minutes to deal with my friend who's in
Okay.
the hospital.
Okay, so
Excuse me.
Desiree, note that Joel left at 1:41 and he'll be back shortly, okay?
yeah,
All
this,
right.
this, is, this is the house where the so-called guest houses added, definitely in horrible construction, horrible shape. It was the original one-car garage that they turned into the kids will rent anything. I didn't. We didn't rent everything, but we did have termites in the ones I stayed in. That was pretty funny. But they made them into 2 units, and the garage was right on the property line in disrepair, incorrect construction. It wasn't fire rated. They had addresses for them, but I submitted pictures, formal thing to the prior officer, and had Juan, the building official, look at it. And there's no way that could have been reconstructed. It was a danger to anybody walking by it. Not to mention they had jury-rigged the forgive the phrase, jury-rigged the electrical. You could almost reach out and touch the electrical going to that place. So we had it demoed properly, and it just was not. It was no way that thing was salvageable.
Okay, well, I think Joel was just asking the question, so I think we need to move on with the current review unless unless Savannah and Andrew want more discussion of the demoed building. Do you?
No.
Okay, so if we don't have any other questions, Savannah and Andrew, let's discuss what a motion might look like. Because we're way beyond the limit for this case, the time limit.
Yeah. I think we can approve it with conditions. What do you think, Andrew?
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna rely on you to write the motion.
Alrighty.
You're in the
But
car.
I think the only conditions would be that that arched opening be constructed as a recess, and then the center mullion in the front window, right?
Yeah. Let me just get my elevations correct. So that's on the south. Okay. Okay, so I have maintain evidence of arched opening on the south elevation by recessing the new infilled wall, and then maintain original configuration of the west window, west elevation window, with the center mullion. I'll say match original configuration because it is new.
Terry, Joel, I'm back.
Okay, Joel's back at 1:45.
And I did have a couple questions if we're still on this house on Second Avenue.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks. Uh, so, oh, I wanted to ask about the garage. The garage door, and we may have been over this in a previous thing, but what is the material and what's the finish on the garage door?
Well, unfortunately, you went away, but I also did talk about this in a previous presentation. I thought I did to
I
this group.
apologize.
That's
I
no apologies, but they're trying to get done here. Sorry, but
Sure.
I mentioned it to everybody while you were gone. Is that basically this building was in horrible shape. They converted it into two guest houses, and yes, part of it was the original garage where they filled in the garage door facing that horrible alley. I'm trying to get the city to pave. And it was just, and so the wall of that garage was right on the east property line, in terrible shape. The roof was sagging. They'd added on a chunk to it, what have you, without permits. That's the sagging, terrible condition, etc. Just really
Yeah.
an eyesore. Didn't have rated wall on the east line. Plus, they jerry rigged the electrical. You could reach up and touch the wire that fed this building, and so I did provide a proper submittal and pictures, and to Juan Garcia, the building official, and to the historic officer that was in charge before Miss Desiree. And so then no one had any questions about demoing it because you could just see in the pictures it was just a piece of crap, a dangerous place. And so
Yeah, and I inspected it personally. It's in my neighborhood, and you're absolutely correct. So I appreciate your work in fixing this all up. So those were the only two questions I had, really. So thanks.
Okay, thanks. And we were working on what the motion would sound like. So let's
Okay.
turn that
Yeah.
back to Savannah so we can move ahead.
So I
Yeah.
think all I have is maintain evidence of arched opening in the south elevation by recessing the new infilled wall and match the original configuration of the west elevation window with the center mullion. Do you want me to say anything about it? Those panels being fixed or acceptable, or do we want to even say anything about the window operation?
I don't think so.
Okay. The only
I
other
would-
question I had, since thank you for providing a demo plan like we asked, all the other infilled doors, those you're putting windows back where the doors were, is that right? There's two on the south, there's an old one on the
You're
east
mute.
and one on the north. You're on mute, Joseph.
Joseph, you're on mute.
okay. Yeah, other than that center door in the south elevation, the other ones removed because they did no purpose other than being dangerous to one of those individual rooms because this was a illegal fourplex. So retaining the door, and ironically, good for all of us, that southern door actually is a perfect location to throw the AC in there. I originally had a pop out for AC and water heater, but I stuffed them inside in the closet. And so this door actually is the outside door for the AC unit, for the air
Okay,
handler.
so apart from that one, where you had doors removed, you're kind of matching the original width of the door with the new window?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I was checking because again, kind of along the same lines of like just keeping evidence of the original structure. I think that sounds fine to me too, if we're
Okay.
not completely erasing it, but it still is an opening, which I appreciate. So I think that's it. Do you guys have any other conditions, do you think?
No, I don't think so. I just want to double check. Were there any setback variances that we need to? Because I know we had questions on the setbacks on the site
Yeah.
plan. And they weren't clear the first time, so I just want to check if there's anything we need to include in the motion.
So the setbacks are listed here. Um,
It's just the ramp, but that's allowed in the setback, right? So,
Yeah.
and the garage, actually, I think we were asking how far away the garage was from the property line.
Hmm.
on both sides. We see it on one side. Oh, in the back, yeah.
South side has dimensions down there, and what I put in my memo, a response memo, is in the past, the center of the alley is what dictates that setback. But again, just tried to copy the setback for the existing with the new, so nothing extends, no real building extends past the edge of the existing building.
Good. Thank you.
Okay. All right,
Okay,
I'm gonna go and do this.
Go ahead.
On the
ahead.
matter of SD-0525-0008-1/TC-RES-0325-01580 at 724 North Second Avenue, I move to recommend approval of the project as presented with the following conditions. For the project to maintain evidence of the arched opening on the south elevation by recessing the new infilled wall, and to match the original configuration of the west elevation window with the center mullion.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, is there discussion on the motion? If not, I'll call roll. Terry votes aye. Joel?
Aye.
Andrew? Andrew, did we lose you?
Sorry, aye.
Okay, and Savannah?
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes unanimously 4-0. And Mr. Marr, do you know the next steps? Or if you don't, can you contact Desiree after the meeting at some point?
Certainly. Thank you all very much.
All right, thank you. Mhm.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, let me ask here, we're at 1:52, and you need to be off, Christina, at 2:30, did you say?
Yes, that'd be great.
And so if you want to go ahead and present now, we'll have to, if everyone is okay, if commissioners are okay with moving that discussion to right now.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes.
Okay. Great, thank you.
And thank you for agreeing to make the adjustment.
Sure, so let me just call this item. So we're moving to item 4D, which is discussion of administrative directive 1-0707 in the Santa Rita Park Pool and Bathhouse. And we had requested this discussion to understand the relationship of the historic review process based on the directive in regard to the case of Santa Rita Park. And we know that this is going to be the subject of further discussion, like the administrative directive, with the working group, and there will be representatives. Andrew's on that group. There's several others, and I know Christina, you will be part of that. So I just wanted something for the record, so that if because we had received a lot of, as you know, a lot of comments and angst at the time.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Terry, and all the members of the committee. So for keeping us on time, and I know that that is a little bit flexible, it seems like. I have about 10 minutes of prepared remarks, and then myself and others are on to help answer questions, because I wasn't necessarily directly involved, but the rest of the team who was, including Jasmine, Corin, the Director of Planning and Development Services, Desiree, our Historic Preservation, so we're all on. Lara from Parks and Rec, the Director of Parks and Rec, was on, but she had to, or will be shortly, having to step into another meeting. So the team is here to help answer the questions, and I'm going to get started.
Okay, great, thank you.
Much of the discussion at the most recent meeting that I was on, and right in advance of the demolition of the bathhouse, was centered around our administrative directive. So I'm going to start with that and focus on sort of what it requires and sort of what we found out that it doesn't require. And then I'll talk a little bit about our timeline and what we've learned and what we're doing moving forward. Some of what we've learned and some of what we're doing moving forward is woven in there. And so it may be repetitive at points, but I want to make sure to cover the bases. So Administrative Director 1.07-7 is the protection of archaeological and historical resources in city projects. It outlines our policies and procedures for the protection of archaeological and historic resources that are associated with city projects or work activities of city staff. It covers the procedures required to obtain clearance for projects that involve earth moving or alteration or demolition of structures. So regarding archaeological resources, so potentially significant archaeological resources as determined from a record search or a field survey that could be impacted by a city project must be surveyed or evaluated prior to project approval. When it comes to the built environment, so that's when we're starting talking about structures, the AD requires the city to review projects that would affect the exterior appearance of any city-owned historic building, including demolition. The requirement, however, is specifically for properties that are listed on the National Register of Historic Places within a local historic preservation zone, HPZ, and for properties determined eligible for listing in the Downtown Heritage Incentive District. So that is a specific clause in there when the review is required. It does not require the city to evaluate potentially eligible built environmental resources or built environment resources for projects where there is no federal nexus. However, our current policy, and I know this is today, not 6 months or a year ago, 2 years ago, our current policy by our Historic Preservation Office is to require that buildings 50 years of age and older proposed for demolition or adverse impacts as part of a city project be evaluated for National Register eligibility. This is one of the areas of the AD that we have identified as something that needs to be strengthened and clarified. City Ordinance 10776 talks about what we're required to do for buildings over 50 years old when being demolished or being proposed for demolition. The ordinance requires buildings 50 years of age and older be documented prior to issuance of a demo permit. Depending on their eligibility status, minor or full documentation is required. Minor documentation consists of color photographs and proof of building age. Full documentation includes those items as well as floor plans and a description of construction materials. All right, so that's what the AD requires, doesn't require, and what's required by the ordinance. In terms of this specific building, this is what we did. In January of 2023, a consultant provided us research and documentation in preparation for demolition of the Santa Rita Park pool and bathhouse. This work did not include an eligibility evaluation, but as I already mentioned, that wasn't required by the AD. In November of 2024, during permitting, our historic preservation team flagged the project for an archaeological survey. The city contracted with Desert Archaeology for a consultant resources survey that focused on archaeology at the site and ultimately provided clearance. In April of this year, the Tucson Historic Preservation Foundation requested that PRS and Historic Landscapes Subcommittee review the proposed demolition of the bathhouse. In May, park staff presented the project to the two committees. And in June and July, somewhat concurrently, eligibility evaluation provided and revised by was provided and revised by Westland Consultants. At the same time, SHPO issued a determination that was requested by the Historic Preservation Foundation. Updates on both of those were provided to the Historic Landscape Subcommittee and the Plans Review Subcommittee. There were questions on this meeting in late August. I don't remember if it was the 27th or the 28th or the 25th, but that meeting, I was on it. There were some questions regarding the feasibility of working around the bathhouse footprint. And that has been analyzed. It wouldn't just simply be moving the stripes. There would have been requirements to adjust the grading of the fields. All fields in that area of the project would have needed to move. And at that point in time, the utilities to the bathhouse had already been severed. The bathhouse did not have any functional purpose at that point, so it would have been bricked and left if there would have been a possibility. for until funding and design would have been available for some future possible use. I should note that there was a significant grading difference, elevation difference in order to work around. It was at least a 2-foot drop, and I don't know that they looked at what that would mean once you moved those fields further north in terms of the cost and the impact to the other fields and the other activities on the park. Also to be noted in all of the conversations with the community leading up to that point, the vision really had been pointing the department to develop multi-purpose fields, splash pad, playground, and walking path for the neighbors in the community, including those in South Tucson that use the park. And so it was really trying to align the park amenities with the vision of the community up until that point. Now, that said, we learned some things, and we have some changes that are already underway and some changes that are going to be moving forward. And some of these are right in lockstep, and we'll be working with you on those. So first, unfortunately, I feel like this has been said before I've been back with the city for 2 years. And so I feel like we've been saying this a few times, and I'm pleased here that we are learning this, and we have learned this, and I'm hoping that we aren't having the same conversation again here shortly. But really the importance of identifying and examining the archaeological, historical, and cultural resources of a project early in the project. And that includes both not just the structures, but also the landscape. We know that we need to have additional clarity in terms of our process to identify, examine those resources. We know that the AD is silent on what we should be doing with potentially eligible built environment resources. And so that is an area that I'll be talking about shortly in terms of creating some clarity. And also we have learned, and we learned this a bit ago, and we are working on and making much progress in this space, really the criticality of having the subject matter experts on our staff and on our team, not just as consultants, but really on our staff, so that they can review the documents that come to us and be aware of what they're looking at and whether or not there's gaps and things that we need to bring further in. So what we're doing moving forward, as you know, we had a shift in our HPO. Desiree has been with the team for some time now, and has, I think, provided some clarity and some strength in terms of our ability to review our work in this space. We've also added new roles to the office. We have a cultural resources compliance manager, as well as a second historic preservation lead planner to the team. I think Corin or Desiree can speak directly in terms of where we are in filling those positions. I'm not entirely sure if they're all filled at this point, but I think we're getting very close if we're not filled. We have plans to address the administrative directive. We talked about this with you back in August. I know that you have some thoughts, and you will have some thoughts as you convene on a working group to really look at it. We're interested in hearing that. We want to work with you together, but specifically, we know that there are gaps in the administrative directive that we need to clarify and make clear, so everybody knows what we're doing, why we're doing it, and really with the intent of preserving our resources. The HPO is also leading trainings on cultural resource compliance. There are trainings coming up this fall, and those are with DTM, Tucson Water, so Transportation and Mobility, Tucson Water, General Services, Housing and Community Development, Parks and Rec. We have done trainings. I think did trainings late last year or mid 2024. So we did trainings in 2024, more to come in 2025. We know this is not a train and walk away. It is a train and retrain and revisit, because we have new teams and they have new roles. So this is not a one-time training. We will be leaning in and continuing to do this training as we continue to deliver the projects and the programs that we have at the city. We know that we need better workflows and processes and communication. We're working on those. That is going to be led by our Director of Planning and Development Services, Corin, our Administrator, Dan Bursick, and Desiree, the HPO. And we need to update our cultural clearance form. That's like update the form. Like you can start there. So the form is very clear. And then ultimately, with our staffing of the HPO, the Historic Preservation Office, we will really work not just internally to make sure that that we have clarity in terms of what's expected of us to, protecting and maintaining our resources. We have clarity in the planning and development process. We have clarity in the project development process. We have clarity across the city throughout all of the departments. And we're working, and we have clarity in terms of how we work with our partners in this. That's what I have. It doesn't change the outcome of this particular structure. We can't change that, but we can change what we do moving forward so that there's more clarity and we're all on the same page. I know we talked about things as simple as when we identify the building, coming and checking in first, immediately checking in, this is what we found. And if we found that something that was unclear, everybody knows that we did, so that everybody knows how we're going to be moving forward. There's lots of changes in the works, and we're looking forward to hearing from you on how we can continue to improve what we do and protect our resources.
Well, great. Christina, thank you for that really comprehensive outline of the issues that happened with this particular situation. I know that Andrew is on the working group and we can communicate, and we've talked about some of our ideas. I mean, in terms of, and I just wanted to mention that the only city directive really, you mentioned that potentially eligible is mentioned about the downtown area, right? And
Yes.
that was, I remember when that happened, we pushed really hard to get that in there, you know, so that happened, and then this never caught up, the administrative directive. And as we mentioned when this was going on, if that's the first step, I mean, even before you apply for funds, bond funds to do things, learn more about the site so that you know whether it's eligible, you know, evaluate its eligibility. And also, I think when you reach out to citizens and residents about what they'd like to see with the park, you know, we've always felt that questionnaire doesn't really say, hey, congratulations, this is a historic park, and how can we work with that, you know, in the benefits of that, and what, you know, what can be done within that framework. And there is some flexibility there. I mean, there's some other things. So commissioners, if you have questions for this group, this wonderful group we have here to answer questions, please, let's go ahead and do those. Anyone have questions?
Sure. Yeah. I think it's great that we're going to be looking at these things earlier in the process. Do you have an idea, kind of like on a checklist, where you know, archaeological and historic resource surveys are going to be in the process moving forward? Is it going to be like before design even starts, or after pre-design, so you have some idea of the scope? I know it's a little chicken and egg sometimes to evaluate things when you don't know what you're going to be doing, but I'm curious your thoughts on how it fits in.
I have a couple versions of answers on that, and then I'm going to defer a little bit. So one of the first pieces of this, and Terry, I appreciate that you said that, like, we should know what our resources are. And I believe, Corin, correct me if I'm wrong, I might get out in front of my skis here. I think we're applying for a grant to help us identify, to do the survey of our resources when it comes to parks. So that will help inform us right now in an area where we have gaps. So there's that piece of that, just making sure that we're informed from the outset. I think, and we will be working with this, and I'm going to tell Desiree that she needs to do this when she does her training this fall. She needs to be telling our teams that they need to know before they start the design. Really, if they're in an area where there are historic or archaeological resources, and if they don't know, we need to be checking that off the box so we understand what our limits are and what our parameters are. And that's not to say that we can't do or take certain actions, but it's making sure that we know what we have and we're informed as we have the conversation. And Terry, to your point, that we're informing our community as well. So I think there's part one is just understanding what we have, and we're starting to have those conversations in the manager's office. If I haven't shared it with Corin and Desiree, they're hearing it now. A second part of that is it was when I started at Planning and Development Services such that city projects were completely designed to 100% and they were submitted for permits. That is not the process anymore. And then once they submitted for permits, then we go back and forth and make sure the plans are correct. That's not the process anymore for city projects. City projects are now submitted at multiple stages during design development to planning and development services, such that if the project didn't know before the design started, it should be flagged at their first submittal, which should be around 30% drawings. So if for some reason they didn't identify it at the outset and we have a layer that there's a lot of resources that are available for them to know, but if for some reason it falls through the crack or it's a project that we got to get it out and we didn't stop to take that breath at that first design submittal, which is about 30% plans, early stage design, everybody reviews those plans. So they would go across Desiree and her team for review. So we would catch it at that earlier design stage. And then I feel like I had a third thing on that, Andrew, but really the goal is if it's not done before design, it would be flagged and caught around that 30%, that first submittal. Desiree, do you have anything else? Is there like a check? I don't think there's a checklist other than what we have in the EnerGov in terms of reviewing plans, but maybe you could answer.
Yeah, well, your answer was right on the head. We actually just received a CIP plan, so capital improvement project plans at that 30% level today. We were just talking about it, our team, and we identified, yes, it does need federal, it has a federal nexus, right? And so we need to work with parks to go through that environmental process. So, so yes, that is certainly now a good kind of baseline for us. We did already do a training with DTM, and it turns out there already was some checklist used years ago that that one of the deputies had at DTM, and so we're going to be trying to bring that back and maybe revamping that. But yeah, checklist is something that we want to do for each department because each department has very different types of work scopes. So that is something we want to do as we work with each department to kind of tailor to their project types. Another thing that we're doing, so the commission created a historic preservation policies and procedures working group that'll be looking at the AD. But we're also working directly with our colleagues at Pima County, and they have, I think, a good model for kind of red light, green light, different check-ins throughout the process, because that's something else we've identified here at the city is that we're generally, good at that beginning stage where we are looking at the cultural resources surveys and the departments are getting their cultural clearances. But then when we start to have issues is further down the line, right? Because some of these projects can take years, they could take a decade. So staff changes and, just time goes by and people forget things, right? So we want to make sure that the recommendations that are made at those very early planning stages are followed through at the later stages. So that's something else that we're looking at is kind of those different checkpoints throughout the review process. And I think that will be easier now that we have the CIP or the capital improvement project kind of workflow in our TDC Online program.
Is that something, Desiree, that happened after Santa Rita, the 30% review? Is that something that's gone into effect since then? Is that?
I believe so, and maybe Corin or Christina can speak to that. I think that's relatively new.
Okay. But the idea is that there's still all this other proposed changes, revisions to the 80 and other things to make it even better. Is that? Yeah.
So
yes,
the 30% review, that change in how we look at permitting, we rolled that out. Gosh, it was over a year and a half ago now. We really rolled that out in early 2020. And that was in response to a few things, not the least of which was we were running into these sorts of problems. It was something that we were finding out way late in the game. The plans were already designed, that there were concerns or issues, and our own internal departments were pushing back and they're saying it's taking too long to permit. You're telling me now that I have to do whatever, the building's already designed. What do you mean I need a bigger setback? Whatever those things are. Oh, wait, and there's historic. So we were like, let's just start looking at them earlier. So we rolled that out a year and a half ago, early 2024. And yes, there's still more to do. And unfortunately, we're finding out in the worst ways that we need to do things differently and better. And so this is one of those examples. heard back from the community that there's a gap in our 80. So let's work on figuring out how to address that.
And I'll just add for this, again, just to reiterate, this did go through the process as outlined in the AD. So in early 2023, our previous historic preservation officer did look at the project and flagged it for archaeology. But at that time, the only requirement for the Santarita pool and bathhouse was documentation of the demolition. That was the only thing that was required to do.
Right, but that was a communication issue, you know, that we didn't hear about it till later and it came through. And what, you know, also we need to remember that it's great that you guys have applied for a grant to look at the parks, but I think that what Historic Landscape Subcommittee has put together is a really good start. That hopefully you're looking at some of those things. So, you know, I like what Christina mentioned about that, you know, that we would be kept in the loop as well as the working group would be discussing this. So I think that this will really help sort of have a consistent approach to these types of things, which will go a long way to misconceptions in the community about, and really other historic preservationists in the community have about, you know, the rules and regulations and policies that the city has. So that would be great. So other comments, questions? Andrew, did you have anything else?
Yeah, just really quickly. I with this case specifically, but with others, when we do kind of get our hands on these evaluations, this one in particular, to me, I think all of us agreed that we didn't agree with the initial evaluation that it wasn't, you know, eligible. There's been other cases like that too. So I think, like, going forward, when Desiree or city staff or even consultants are doing these evaluations, I think it would be really great to bring them before PRS, even if it's not required by the AD or other statutes, but to bring it before us to kind of get a soft concurrence with it, and make sure that we're not missing things, because then we end up, you know, going back and pushing consultants to do more research, and you know that we're seeing a disconnect between some of these situations and kind of what we just know to be true. So I would like to see those come through, at least, you know, for a courtesy review or just as a email or whatever, just to get eyes on them early and identify any major gaps in those reports.
Andrew, I think that that's my hope as well. If we had the information we got in June, July, a year ago, we could have come to you, and that dispute and the could have all happened last year. It may have ended up being the same decision. We may have ended up in different, you know, we disagreed. But I'd like us to all know if we disagree sooner than later and go through that process. So it's not a last minute, you didn't give us a chance. And so it is my hope that when we get the reports, if our report says archaeologically it's clean, architecturally it's clean, move forward, we will share that with you. And if there's a dispute, then we can have the conversation at that point, and hopefully it'll be much earlier in the project and the process, so that if changes can be made or should be made, we can pivot as appropriate.
Yeah, that's great. And I think we're all kind of marching to like a collaborative beat right now, you know, you all across departments and with the commission, and I think that's great. And it's, yeah, so that's great. Thank you for doing that.
Okay, Savannah, do you have anything else?
No, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Great. And Joel?
No, very informative. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and thank you all for being on. This has been great, and we'll, I'm sure, continue the conversation at different levels in the future. So, and hopefully you're off with 10 minutes before your 2:30, whatever that is.
Thank you all
Anything
for
else?
feedback, and it definitely is an ongoing dialogue. So we will be keeping you updated on the process and the revisions to the AD, and want to keep working with you on that.
Great. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, let's move back then to case 4B. And that is SD 0725-00109/TC-RES 0625-02920 at 437 East First Street. This is a full review in the West University Historic Preservation Zone. It's a contributing resource. Michael, are you the contact on this project? And will you give us some background?
Yes, Madam Chair, I am.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So, Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, this project is located at 437 East First Street. It has an existing pool that is going to be removed and infilled. And once it is infilled on the plans, you will see it styled as new construction. There is going to be a remodel of an existing detached garage. This infill and the new construction, the property owner intends to use it as an accessory dwelling unit, ADU. This property, the main property, the two-story main residence, is about 2,355 square feet. The proposed area for the ADU is about 679 square feet. This property is a corner lot between East First Street and North Half Avenue. The location is important because they do have a side street. Per zoning requirement, the side street, which will be Half Avenue, the setback on that side street is 10 feet. Per plans, they are proposing to provide 4 feet 8 inches. And so they will come to you today to be asking for a waiver of a setback from 10 feet to 4 feet 8 inches. This project went, and the advantage of the setback here, Madam Chair and members of the subcommittee, is that they do not need to go through another process, which is a design development option application. Once historic waives the setback, then they don't need to do a DDO at all. West University had reviewed this application on September the 9th, and I apologize here that I sent the legal action report to you sometime this morning. It was not in the package that was sent to you, but I did provide that to you individually, and I hope you receive it. West University reviewed it and recommended approval as presented, and they also recommended the setback should be waived from 10 feet to 4 feet, 8 inches. The vote was 5-0 for that. We did not receive any public comments on this application. If there's any question for me as staff, I would like to answer that. If not, I'll turn it over to the architects who are here. Bob Lanning and Stephen are here to present the project.
Thank you, Mike.
So that's Bob and Stephen Curdy, correct?
Yep,
That's correct, Madam Chair.
Great, thank you. Go ahead, gentlemen.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and take the screen, right?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go. Okay. Yeah, so this is the site right here. As Michael mentioned, it is a corner lot. This is our development zone, the project here. So you can see Hoff is on the east side of the parcel, and First Street is on the south. And let me try to zoom in a little bit more here. Yeah, so it's interesting that there's the contributing structure, the main house is a contributing structure, and then there is a garage structure in the back that it's adobe, it's older, and we've done as part of this project, we've made an effort to, you know, not just knock down that building. We're using it to be part of our ADU. These are contributing structures in our development zone. Oh yeah, here's a better look at the aerial. So you can see that's the pool, which was it was installed in 1986. And this is the garage structure in the back, and it's part garage and part carport, which you'll see in our plans. Here are pictures of the existing residence. And these are pictures of the garage structure. And so we are converting most of this garage. It will serve as a bedroom for the ADU. And then we're doing an addition where the pool is for the rest of the ADU, which will be like the kind of a great room for the living and dining and a bathroom. And so here is the site plan. So you can see here it says convert part of an existing garage structure to an ADU bedroom here. And then this is the addition down here. And a small portion of the existing garage is going to remain accessible from the outside for storage. And the existing carport is going to remain a carport. And go to our floor plan. Yeah, so you can see this is the floor plan, and then we have our existing and proposed elevations to the left. This is the existing east elevation that faces Hoff. And then this is the proposed, where you see where, you know, the little roof over the bathroom here kind of matches the existing gable of the garage. And then the roof steps up kind of at where there's the living and the kitchen space. And we were careful to like do little offsets. Like there's a little offset here to, you know, we definitely don't want to crack right here in this east elevation where the masonry and the frame construction meet. But it also just like clearly differentiates the addition from the original structure. So we were kind of careful to differentiate, you know, to have that offset. What other? We have some high windows. You know, I probably should have drawn, or at least dotted in. There's going to be a site wall across this east elevation along Hoff. So there is an existing site wall. We're just extending it a little bit to give a little bit more security to this bedroom window. And I can go back to the site plan and show you that. But basically, there will be a wall, a 5-foot wall here. And then you'll see these higher windows, these 3 higher windows in the great room. And then this is that bedroom window for egress. And then down here, this is the existing north elevation, the proposed north elevation. Really the only change is that you're going to see this this taller roof peeking up over, you know, it's this roof right here at the top. And here is the existing and proposed south elevation. So this is the new addition that's coming, you know, pretty far in front of you. But you can see this carport's staying the same. And yeah. And then this is the elevation in the backyard where you see the west side of the carport, and then this is the new the doorway into the ADU from the backyard. I guess one little detail that we picked up on is that these lookouts have little knee braces, decorative knee braces, and also this awning over the front door have little decorative knee braces that kind of pick up on a detail on the main house, just to kind of give it a nod to the existing residence. But you know, it does not, this addition doesn't, you know, touch the existing residents. And then there's sections which I'm sure you guys are less concerned with, but the windows are all going to be wood, wood clad. And
So we like sections. We like sections.
oh, well, we're excited about these scissors trusses. Our clients wanted they wanted a little bit of slope in the great room. I guess one thing that you'll find is they want to do ductless mini splits. They're okay with that. So that means that there's obviously no mechanical on the roof. We're just gonna have a small condensing unit outside and an air handler in the great room and an air handler in the bedroom. But yeah, and there is going to be this little triangle overbuild to connect our addition to the roof of our addition to the existing garage structure, but that's just kind of the way we're kissing the existing structure.
Yeah, we just wanted to turn the gable to a 90-degree angle to the existing one. That's it.
And then step up.
And frame in and then step up.
And the main house is really tall. It's actually a 2-story house. So it's we're in no danger of dwarfing the main house. It's quite large.
Let's go back to the floor plan.
Sure.
So you can kind of see the main entry into the ADU is right from the middle of the backyard. So
yeah, they have families going to be living there, so they're not really concerned about privacy between the two dwelling units.
And that's it.
Yep. Any questions?
Okay, who would like to start with questions?
Yeah, this is Joel. I'll ask a couple just to start. Do you have a picture of the front of the house?
Of the main house?
Picture of the front of the main house, yes.
Yeah, that's it right there, top left, right there.
Top?
Right there. It's in the middle now.
Oh, okay. It's right below, it says existing site photo. It's right below that.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, and that is not across from Catalina Park, correct?
No, it faces First Street. It's on Hoff, which is a block from Catalina Park.
Yeah, okay. Okay, and good, I just wanted to get my bearings before the pros ask some questions here. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Joel. Who's next?
Okay, I just have a quick question. I mean, just a few. There's an existing curved wall. Is that roughly where you're gonna put back a new site wall? Or not curved, but has a little curve to it.
Yeah.
Is that on the property line?
You can kind of see it ever so slightly in right here where his cursor is.
Yeah.
It curves over to touches the existing garage, and we're just extending that wall due north along the property line and then wrapping it back towards the existing garage.
Oh, okay. So a portion of that is just existing and it'll be the same height with the new?
Yeah, same height, same stucco texture.
Got it. Okay.
Extend existing site wall for privacy, CMU block with stucco finish.
Okay. Is that like 6 foot wall or?
Yeah, it might, I think it's 5 feet.
Okay.
Right? No, maybe it doesn't say.
I drew it right there.
It's okay. If it's existing, I got.
Yeah, we'll match existing. Yeah.
No, yeah, I think it's a great solution, thoughtful. Is it right that the new great room addition, it really only extends to the east 6 inches more than the existing structure?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
And that was just to kind of provide some interest and offsets there, which I think makes sense. So I have no no issue with the proposed setback waiver and appreciate the very clear set of plans and proposed design. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. And I agree. Thanks for the good presentation. So if there are no more questions, shall we propose a motion that we can have made?
Well,
I do have,
Andrew?
I just have one question.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Andrew. I thought you said you were done. I'm sorry.
No,
No, I
it's all
didn't.
good.
I didn't even call on you. Sorry, it's been a long day.
It's all good. So this accessory structure is not contributing currently, right?
Yeah, it doesn't show up on, when you look at that map of contributing structures, it is not,
It doesn't have the C on it.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And why does it say that in the summary? Is that because the main house is?
Yes.
Yeah, the main house is contributing, but when we look at this map, that accessory structure doesn't have a C on it.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
might be because that carport was probably added at some point, and so maybe that's what knocked it out of contributing status.
It could be. The documentation of those little like carriage houses is really sketchy on a lot of them too. A lot of them it's like they could be contributing, but no one ever documented it. But yeah, if you haven't yet, it might be worth your and the homeowner's time to reach out to SHPO and see if it is eligible. And then, I mean, I think what you've done here would, if it was contributing, I think it would retain its contributing status.
Yeah.
Because you've done a really thoughtful job of it. But it may be worth the owner looking out and, properly documenting it with SHPO, just for the tax benefit anyway. But yeah, really great set of plans, great presentation, really thoughtful. I think the only comment I would have would be on the garage door where that's being infilled. I would like to see like a reveal put in, to indicate that opening. And you probably would want to anyway if you're gonna do a wood infill wall, but I would do a control joint or something around that opening.
Okay,
Okay.
just set
Yep.
it back like an inch or two, is that what you mean? Because that's
I
an
don't-
Adobe
no.
wall, so,
No, you can keep the wall flush. I would just put a control joint between
oh, I see.
between the jam and the new infill wall. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's my only comment. Looks great. Thank you.
Okay. Now,
More quick
anything else?
question. Sorry, Terry.
No, go ahead.
It seems like West University had comments about the development zone drawing and maybe some notes. It seems like what we are looking at more recent, maybe drawings that addressed their comments. Is that right?
I don't.
No,
We didn't see any of
no,
those.
Savannah, no. You're thinking of the next case.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
right.
Yes.
It looked good on these set of drawings, so that's why I wanted to ask. Okay, sounds good.
Cool.
All righty. So who is going to tackle this motion, including the thing about the setbacks?
Andrew, do you want to do it? I'm happy to do it too. I have it right in front of me.
Yeah, if you can do it, it's a little hard
Okay.
to switch back and forth screens. Yeah.
In the car.
Yeah.
All right, happy to. Okay, so case 4B, right?
Yes, ma'am.
On the matter of SD-072-7-00109/TC-RES-0625-02920 at 437 East First Street, I move to recommend approval of the project as presented, including a waiver for the setbacks as 4 feet 8 inches as acceptable, and for the previous garage opening to have a control joint where infilled.
I'll
Okay, is there a
second.
second?
Yep. Second.
Okay, is that sounding good? Okay.
Yep.
All righty. Any further discussion? If not, Terry votes aye. Savannah,
Aye.
Joel,
Yes.
and Andrew.
Aye.
Great, thank you. It passes unanimously 4-0. And Bob and Steven, you guys know the drill, or do you have questions that
We're
you
good.
need
Thank
Desiree to
you.
answer now, or no?
We're good.
We're good.
Thank you very
All
much.
right, thank you both very much and for your patience. We appreciate it.
Sure.
Okay, we'll move on to case 4C then, which is SD 0725 00107 / TC-RES 0725 03447 at 528 East 4th Street. This is a full review on the West University HPZ, contributing resource and so on. And the staff contact is Michael Taku. Michael, could you provide some background and let us know what West University said? Just summarize it for the record.
Yes, Madam Chair,
Thank you.
this property is also the request before you is the same, like almost the same like the last one. It's a conversion of an existing detached garage into an ADU. Basically, when you look at the scope of work, they're talking about replacing doors and windows, replacing the metal garage door with the French door. They want to add some screws to provide for drainage on that. In the course of the discussion, there was a mention of a fiberglass as being a suggestion for doors and window material. But West University objected to that because it is not permitted per their guidelines. And so they said the appropriate materials should actually be metal clad. When West University reviewed this on September the 9th, which I sent a copy of the legal action report to you, they recommended approval with the following modification to the materials to be presented to PRS. That the reference to fiberglass as candidate material for windows and doors needs to be removed. That the windows and door material to be metal clad wood. And 3, that the revised drawings indicating which structure in the development zone are contributing and which is non-contributing. And they also said they didn't want them to come back to the board, that the staff should just review the revised plans, and if they're okay, to move it forward to PROS, which is what we have done. West University voted 5-0 to recommend approval. So the plans that you receive from us for this particular project are the revised plans that will show the development zone with contributing and non-contributing. I believe this is what Savannah was referencing in the last review. This application, this case was presented to West University by the architect, Jim Sauer. Unfortunately, Jim is not here today, but the property owner, Jane, is here to do the presentation for the case. If there's a specific question for staff, I would like to answer. If not, I will turn it over to the property owner to do the presentation.
All right, thank you.
And Jean, would you like to share your screen or would you like me to share the plan?
Hello, everyone. Let me see if I can share my screen. Here we go.
Jean, I'm sorry. Did you tell me, did you say you were the property owner?
I am. I'm the
Great.
owner and the occupant.
Okay, perfect. And you are presenting. Thank you.
And can everyone see my screen?
I can.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
As Michael mentioned, these plans were drawn up by Jim Sauer, a Tucson architect. And
Your name is Jean, not Jeannie?
Yes, Joel, it's Jean or Jeanne, if you prefer.
Jean, I do prefer. Thank you so much. Good deal.
This is the back of the existing garage. This faces the alley on the south side. And you can see right now it has 2 metal doors. It's not weatherproof. You might be able to see the gaps in the bottom of the structure. So right now it's really only good for storage. and my cat likes to sleep in it in the wintertime. This is the north-facing side of the building. This faces the back of my residence. And to show you the 1919 Sanborn map, at the bottom we see the residence and the garage, which is the structure has been there since at least 1919. In terms of the development zone, just to note that all the primary structures in the development zone are included as contributors to the historic zone, and none of the accessory structures, including the garage to my house, are listed as contributing structures. So this is a map of the development zone. 528 East 4th Street is there in red, as you can see. And down in the corner here is an aerial view of the contributing structures. And here again is 528 East 4th Street. Next is the site plan. You see the single-family residence. There will be no changes to the residence. In the back, there is a carport, which is currently used as a patio. There will be no changes to that. And here is the garage and the proposed site of the ADU. It's 288 square feet. And that again faces on the public right-of-way, the alleyway. And on the east side is North 2nd Avenue. This sheet shows the existing elevation of the garage. This line here is the roof of the patio / carport. It has one door. This is the west elevation, no doors or windows on the west side, and the existing elevation is 9 feet. This shows the south and the north elevations. It's the same all the way around. It's 9 feet. These are the tin doors on the garage that I showed you a photo of, and the north-facing door. One of the proposed changes is to raise the roof from 9 feet to 11 feet 4 inches. That would allow the interior ceiling to be 9 feet high. And as Michael noticed, there's a note put in at the request of the West University Historic Zone Advisory Board. It says door and window materials to be metal-clad wood. This is a picture of the east elevation, and you can see over here the existing elevation is 9 feet, and the proposed elevation would be 11 feet 4 inches. The same view of the south and north elevations with the proposed raising of the roof. To go briefly over the details, the proposal is to convert the existing detached garage to an ADU, to increase the interior height, to add interior structural elements, insulate the building, increase interior natural light, and to minimize changes to the exterior and make those small changes evidently new and differentiated from the original while staying compatible with the original. And that refers to the increase in height and the doors and windows. For the height, we propose raising the height by 28 inches from 9 feet to 11 feet 4 inches. The new height is well below the height of the primary residence and below the height of similar parapet roofs accessory buildings within the development zone. And I'll show you some photos at the end to illustrate that. The increase in height is set back from the face of the building by 6 inches, which is a depth of the ceramic block wall of the original structure, so that the height at the face of the building wall will not change and the original exterior structure will remain intact. The increase in height allows for 9-foot ceilings inside the proposed ADU. For details, the proposed details are appropriate to the style of the existing building and to the proposed new use of the building. In particular, we propose to replace the existing door on the north facade, which is not visible from the public right-of-way, with a window. The original door opening, size, shape, and location will be retained as a recess from the face of the building, and the purpose of the window is to allow more light into the living space. We also propose to replace the existing door on the east facade, which is currently solid wood, with a glass panel door, and the glass panel door will allow light into the living space. Another change is to replace the existing metal garage doors on the south facade, the alley facing front, with French doors, side lights, and a transom window. This is compatible with other structures in the area. French doors are found on the front porch of the house across the street, 701 North 2nd Avenue, and within the development zone. And again, this is to allow light into the living space. And then scuppers are added to allow roof drainage. These are common in the development zone, and similar scuppers can be found on accessory buildings immediately west at 526 East 4th Street. And multiple scuppers will manage roof water, mitigate overflow, and allow for the minimum increase in building height. The only change to the building form is change of height, discussed above. The only change to proportions is change of height, discussed above. The only change to rhythm will be replacing of a door with a window, as discussed above. No changes are proposed to setbacks, site utilization, color, landscaping, enclosures, utilities, parking areas, roof type, surface texture, projections, and recessions. This is a photo of 522 East 4th Street, which is at the end of the alleyway. On my block, it shows a 12-foot 5-inch height to the top of the parapet on an accessory building, as was mentioned earlier. And the building across the street, 701 North 2nd Avenue, has French doors on its front porch. And thirdly, the building to the west of my house at 526 East 4th Street has a scupper on its accessory dwelling. That concludes the presentation of the plan for the ADU. So I'll hand it back to the chair.
Well, thank you very much. And who would like to begin with questions?
I'll
I can start.
Oh, you go ahead,
Oh.
Andrew.
Oh, okay. This would be, this is a question for Michael, a zoning question. The existing structure looks like it has really low setback, like it wouldn't meet current setbacks. I know we're not changing the footprint of the building, but does the change of use of the building require a DDO or a setback waiver?
Since they're doing new construction and if they're not meeting the setback, then they will be required to meet this current setback.
Okay, so we need to put a setback waiver in our motion then.
It's just safe to do that. to make sure they
Okay.
don't come back to you or they don't get held up at the level of.
Yeah, okay. That was, I on the site plan, I didn't see that setback called out. Would you be able to flip to that page so we can look at it?
Is that the one you're talking about, Andrew?
Yes, this is. So I'm just wondering how to handle that on our end. That,
Yeah, they're not shown.
yeah,
But we could say existing are acceptable.
yeah, maybe that to add the existing setback to the site plan and that the existing setback is acceptable or something to that effect.
Yeah, the
That way,
existing setback proposed by the applicant, right?
yeah, yeah.
Proposed in the plans or whatever, right?
Yeah, okay. And then the second question is, what are you doing for air conditioning? Are you doing a mini split?
Yes.
Do you have any plan that shows where the heat pump is going to be located outside?
Not on this set of drawings, no.
Okay. As long as it's behind, as long as it's screened from the street, which it looks like it would be,
Yeah, it
that's
would,
fine.
yeah, it would most likely go on the east or the north side of the building.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think that's it.
Great, thank you. Savannah or Joel?
Again, I'm sorry. Do you have a picture of the front of the house in anywhere in this application?
Well, you know, when you asked that, Joel, I did pull a picture from my gallery of the side of the house. So let me see if I can,
Thank you.
I've been trying to look it up on my phone and I can't see it. And I just like to get an idea of the house we're looking at.
That's the Second Avenue side of the house.
Ah,
And it's on the corner of North Second Avenue and East 4th Street on
And
the
East
southwest corner.
so, okay, so let me think. Southwest. Oh, I know the house. Yeah, okay. I got it now. Thank you. Yeah, no, this looks fine to me. I think it's good. Let me see, I did write a question. Just a comment. I think it's I like the fact that you're moving the ceiling up in the auxiliary building. I think that's a characteristic of West University to have high the ceiling. So I think that's a good plan. So thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
Yeah.
Savannah, how about you?
Well, yeah, to go off what Joel said, I appreciate that not only was it extended up, but also it was kind of held back. It kind of provides a nice distinction, I think, from the original parapet height. So I sort of appreciated that architectural move, and I think it'll be nice. My only other questions are the stucco finish. Is it just to remain? You're just gonna kind of patch it up and paint it on the exterior, or is that
Yes,
all
the
matching?
stucco finish will remain, and it will eventually be repainted, as will the house. But right now, the color of the garage matches the house.
Are you proposing to keep the same paint color, or?
I really haven't chosen any colors yet, but the color of the garage would match the color on the main house.
Okay. That's just what I wanted to know. Sometimes we want to see what's proposed, make sure it's compatible with the neighborhood. So my final question was I know there's these new scuppers added directing water a certain direction. Is that how currently the roof drains? I couldn't quite tell. Is that a changing pattern, or how does the roof drain?
Yeah, the idea is to add a scupper and then harvest the water coming off the roof to use for the garden. There is a very old pipe at the northwest corner, but it gets clogged and the water has leaked somewhat into the northwest corner, so there's some rot in the old wood floor that will have to be removed. There really isn't much other drainage other than that one pipe that comes down, and I think that may be original.
So when you say pipe, was it like a downspout with a?
No, it's just an open pipe about, I'd say about 2 inches in diameter.
Okay, like a scupper, kind of like what you're proposing, or just really just a lot smaller?
Just a pipe, and open at the top and bottom.
Okay, I don't see it on the photos, but you're taking care of the water in a similar way or harvesting it, so it's not going to change. I guess I'm asking if it does change or like it affects, especially if it is potential contributor. You know, it's or I'm trying to get at erosion or whatnot around the building, so that's why I was asking.
Yeah, the idea would be to capture the water coming off the building through the scupper and use it and do rainwater harvesting.
Okay, so you might add a downspout then to capture that water. Keep it from
Something,
splashing.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry, I'm not an architect.
It's okay. No, I'm probably using terms that, no, it's all good. I think it's fine. Yeah. So it sounds like we should probably, and it looks like you updated, or at least you presented to us, your development zone shows contributors labeled. So I think that answered West University's question. So I think we just probably want to reiterate that they're metal clad wood doors and windows, or did you update the drawings to show that or say that?
Well, there's a note that Jim Sauer added somewhere here that the doors and windows would be metal clad wood. There we go.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
I think we could call that good, right, Terry? Or
yeah, it's really as allowed by, because it's not, there's other, they can be just wood windows, right? I guess this is fine.
Yeah, but I was gonna leave it out of my I was gonna make a motion, but probably leave it out.
What does Desiree think? I mean, should it be or just maybe per WUSAB design guidelines? But we don't want to give the impression that all windows are supposed to be metal clad. They can also just be wood, right? Is that confusing, or is that just me?
I think that because West University was referencing their design guidelines, if you need to add that in, we can just say per West University design guidelines.
Yeah, and I think that's I think that's fine, because you do have options, Jean. You could have just done wood windows, but metal clad will be slightly more they'll withstand the weather beating on them better. Right?
Yeah.
So, okay. Savannah, are you doing?
Yeah, I'm happy to. Yeah, I think it's worthy of approval. I think I'll just note doors and windows to be metal clad wood. Happy to do that, just in case. The other condition, add setback dimensions to the site plan, and existing setbacks proposed are acceptable.
I think that's good. Yeah.
Does that sound okay? Existing as proposed.
Is that good?
And then I have mechanical equipment to be located on the ground and screened. It's not covered in the drawing, so I just want to make sure it's in there.
Yeah. Good question. Anything about the scuppers or no?
I think it's fine as proposed. I don't know that we want to say anything?
I think so. I would, just to the applicant, just as an FYI, if the rainwater harvesting, if that's a future project, you would be required to bring that through, as a minor review, just FYI.
Okay, noted.
Alrighty. All right, I'll go ahead and make a motion.
Thank you, Savannah. You're sweeping them too.
Madam Chair,
On
before
the-
the motion, can you also say that if future rainwater harvesting is going to be undertaken, it will be a subject of minor review?
Good. Thank you, Michael, for that addition.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. All right, on the matter of SD-07257-00107/TC-RES-0725-03447 at 528 East 4th Street. I move to recommend approval of the project as presented with the following conditions. That the doors and windows be metal clad wood. To add setback dimensions to the site plan and existing setbacks proposed are acceptable. Mechanical equipment to be located on the ground and screens, and any future rainwater harvesting improvements would be subject to a minor review.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, let Joel, because he hasn't had a turn.
Yes, good.
Okay, is there further discussion? Okay, I'll go ahead and call the roll. I vote aye. Savannah?
Aye.
Andrew?
Aye.
Joel?
Aye.
Great, it passes unanimously 4-0. And Jean, are you familiar with the next steps, or you can always contact Desiree or Michael for the next steps?
Okay, yeah, most likely it will be Jim Sauer who contacts Michael for the next steps, so.
Yeah, and Jim is a former PRS member, so he would maybe know, you might remember, it's been a while now. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, our recommendations are taken along with those of West University, and the director of PDSD makes the decision, and you'll get that letter, and then there's an appeal period and so on. So, but anyway, thank you very much for that great presentation, and very, very clear. And say hello to Jim for us.
Okay, I will. He's
Thank
on
you
a
very much.
he's on a bike ride at the moment.
Oh, very, very good. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm glad
All
he
right.
still
Well,
likes-
thanks to everyone.
Sure. Thank you. I just wanted to say before we go on to item 5, Savannah, would you send us your motions as usual? That's extremely helpful.
Yes, I will. They're a little messy, but for what it's worth.
Okay. And Desiree, please do send me the transcript. That's very helpful sometimes. Okay, item 5 is current issues for information discussion. 5A is minor reviews. Staff, what about these?
Do you want to go ahead, Michael?
Yeah, let me start. We have undertaken many minor reviews, myself and Jason. I think I'll start. Jason can continue, and then Desiree has also done so. And in all this, we continue to thank Andrew for all the wonderful help that he's giving us. In West University, we had 445 East University for handrail, 611 East Fifth Street for a solar panel, 309 East First Street for solar panel. In Amory Park, we had 330 South Scott Avenue for signs at the Tucson Museum of Art. There's still another one pending at that location, which is for the tile. So we are actually working on getting that review resolved. We have in Amory Park 219 East 13th Street for a fence. And I'm currently also working for in America for 817 South 3rd Avenue for a residential pool. In West University, as part of the capstone project, we had 1030 North Euclid for a retaining wall in front of the property, which was approved. And then for more signs in the barrio, we had 600 South Mayor for signs and 350 South Convent for signs. Those are the ones that I've done and they're approved as of now. I will tell you either to Desiree or my colleague Jason to give you an update, any minor reviews that they have done.
Okay, I can go next. I have done a number of minor reviews, maybe not as many as Michael, and I apologize, I don't remember all the addresses off the top of my head, but I have also received a lot of the decision letters back this week and in process of closing out the sub-records and getting all this out to the applicants. And I will just make a note that the site walls at the Port Lowell Commissary and Donaldson House, we completed those minor reviews this Monday, and we have had that decision letters. I've already given that out to Jasmine Chan, and that's all I have for
Thank you.
Terry, can I ask
Yes.
a question on minor reviews? And it's mainly a interest question. And I don't think I have a conflict because for two reasons. I'm no longer in privity with Capstone. And besides, I've never made a damn cent off them, so it doesn't matter. What was the issue with the wall on Capstone, Michael?
There is a retaining wall in front of that contributing property at 1030 North Euclid. It's a
1030, that's the blue house?
Yes, it's a 2 foot 10 inches retaining wall in the front of the property.
Okay.
Which, while they were going through the capstone review project, unfortunately, that wall was never mentioned in any of the site plans or any of the drawings. And so they brought it voluntarily to our attention that they want to demolish that wall. And so we said it needs to go through a review process. So I got Andrew to review this. He provided a review with his comments. And then I went for an on-site review with the chair of West University and myself, plus a representative of Capstone to look at that wall. It is not attached to the property. It is just standing there in a feature right of way. They intend to demolish this wall to use that section as a landscape area. So it was recommended for a demolition because it did not look or was in any way or form historic at all. And then the tiles that Andrew thought that the whole wall was made up of tiles. The tiles there were just for the number. So the wall was not with any tiles. So the tiles could not be used for anything like Andrew had proposed that maybe they can use it as pavers for the front yard or anything like that. So when we got there, we realized that the tiles were just for the 1030, were just used for the address.
I get it. And I know that project that the Euclid, that right turn lane has to go way down almost to First Street, and that sort of had an impact on that too.
Yeah, and then we also requested a documentation of the action. So we requested that the wall be shown on the site plan, and we requested a color photograph of the wall as it is existing before it is demolished, so it becomes part of the record of that property.
I appreciate, Michael, you and Andrew's work on that. Thanks very much.
And we intentionally kept you out because of your commitment with Capstone for the other review, so we're not aware of what was going on. So to be safe, I did not contact you for any of that, but for most West University, I usually contact you.
And I agree with you 100% on that, so thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Michael and Jason. I was just curious from the commission, is this the format that you would like you know, this minor review section to go. I mean, alternatively, we could look at putting recent minor reviews like in a spreadsheet. Just kind of curious, or is it helpful to talk them through?
Well, sometimes it's helpful to talk them through, but we used to list all of the numbers, which you know anyway. You could, you know, list those, and then we can talk about any ones we have issues with, like the completed ones. Sometimes in the past, the commissioner who did them would comment on them. You know, it's really up to other members what they'd like to see, but I'd like a better record of it that isn't just you'd have to pull it out, and sometimes it's difficult, you know, from just the recording. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and now we
Others?
have, you know, a second planner as well, so there will be more to talk about. So that's, and I know you all are busy and we have a lot, we're kind of adding more things, right, to your reviews, which is a good thing, but also means that your agendas are longer.
Yeah.
And I know there's time consideration, so just
Yeah,
wanted to.
well, we could experiment with different formats. Andrew and Savannah and Joel, what do you think? I mean, it's nice to acknowledge that people work on these because it's a lot. And there might be interesting issues that help other commissioners who generally do minor reviews do. So what Savannah and Andrew and Joel, do you have any comments on that, or do you want to defer that to a future one?
I think my thought on it is we could probably just include in the meeting material like a list of the completed minor reviews that have had like decision letters issued, and then I would kind of leave it to staff discretion or any of the commissioners to bring up any that were like contentious or interesting. But I mean the vast majority of them aren't. So if we can get through those more efficiently on the agenda, great, and give us time to talk about any that are interesting.
And, you know, maybe we could have the address, the date it was reviewed, who did it, and, you know, whatever, something about it, because at the end of the year, I'll be asking you for a summary of all the cases we did, because that's really important in my report that goes to mayor and council. We want them to know how much we all did, including you guys, right?
So,
I mean, it's something that's easy.
So Terry,
I like the idea of a summary as succinct as possible, like roof replacement, new signage, something like that.
Yeah.
Just, and then we can, decide if it's worthy of talking about. But I like seeing generally the scope of what has been reviewed in the meantime. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Joel?
Yeah, and I agree with Andrew and Savannah. Most of them are so routine. The color of shingles and putting on solar panels, very routine. I like those. There are every once in a while, though, we run into one where it's interesting, and I think we should maybe go out to see them, but maybe that's 1 in 10 items, you know, or one.
Yeah. Oh, and then have a column in your summary of the HPZ it's in, because that will be important for you if you're trying to convince certain historic preservation zones to do minor reviews differently, right? Isn't that something you're thinking about? So the more data we can collect and show, I think it doesn't take that long once you're used to compiling it.
Yeah. So I agree, you know, if it's the color of a shingle, we should be able to do it over email and it's done and, you know, write a little report.
Yeah, okay. All right, let's move on to 5B appeals.
No
We do not
appeals.
have any.
No. 5C zoning violations.
I think we're still continuing with the same style, you know. We used
Just
to
the usual, right? The usual.
We used to send Rick Sedate to be our person out there interacting with the people, but he is very soon going on retirement. I guess we are going to then figure out what we need to do. It has to be part of our process improvement. We have to discuss that as a team with Desiree and Jason, how we are going to handle that now that Rick is likely going to go on retirement.
Yeah,
But
we'll be
right now,
finding
he's
somebody else. Yeah.
Hey, Terry, this is Joe. I want to add one more thing about my comment about the minor reviews. Roof color, solar, fine. We don't even probably need to do much. But there are cases where like a guy's bought a house and replaced all of the windows with bad windows. And I think we ought to go out to those, That's what I'm talking about. You get what I mean, Michael?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So there you go.
So one of the things that happen with minor reviews is even though we are sending the plans to you to review them, if you feel comfortable that you can just tell us, okay, it's good to go, fine, we're good for that. If you really think that maybe we should go take a look at it, we should do an on-site review, we're also open to that. So we're just asking for suggestions, anything that we can do to improve and facilitate the process. I must admit that the current situation that we are letting PRS members and the advisory board members to review plans and just give us their feedback has really helped us a lot to cut down on the processing time, on the backlog that we have before Desiree got here. We are not yet fully caught up, but we are almost there.
That's great. And yeah, we're working toward that. So, okay. So 5C zoning violations is the usual verbiage you're working on. 5D review process issues. Does anyone want to say anything, or are we too tired? Just joking. I'm never too tired for PRS.
I leave that up to Desiree because we are doing a lot of process improvement in our office at this point in time anyway. So
yeah, and we've been hearing about that. We've been talking about it, and we'll be looking at some of your forms in the future when we have time. And we actually made it through this fairly quickly. I was going to say that we had a variety of cases today. One was super easy because the architects have done this many times before, right? And then the other one was very good because the person was very detailed, and the other one was not so good because I don't know what they had their own idea of how it should be reviewed. But maybe with the checklist, things will. Is that an accurate thing, or is that just me?
There was a challenging case, yes.
Yes.
You're accurate.
And you were super patient, Savannah. I mean, I have to hand it to you. I'm fairly patient too. Some days I'm really not wanting to be, but I think I managed to be. So, anything else right now, or are we just kind of almost done here?
Terry, I just want to say one thing. I don't
Go
know,
ahead.
maybe I'm about to die, but I just want to express to you and to everybody on our meeting here how much I've enjoyed working with you. It's just been a real delight. The professionals, you, the staff. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Joel. And please don't be talking about the alternative. Okay.
I'm fine, but I just want to say that.
Well, we appreciate you too, Joel. And I didn't tell the rest of you, but Joel was very good about letting me know that he would be on and off today and why, and it was justified, but I appreciate that. So let's talk real briefly about item 6, future agenda items for upcoming meetings. And please tell me that we have no cases pending, so we don't have a meeting.
I wish, Terry,
silly.
but
we wish.
So, but actually, well, currently we only have one design review case. Will be the Pueblo Vida expansion and building restoration. So that's a building on Broadway, a commercial building that will be restored. So that's in the IID. That's what that would be, or the downtown district. That's what that would be coming to you. There are a few items related to National Register that SHPO is going to be looking at, the HSRC in November. And so we're thinking of kind of there's quite a few items that are in Tucson that they're going to be discussing in November. So we're going to try to break them up between the next two meetings.
Yeah, how many are there? Because I haven't heard about the agenda for HSRC yet.
So there are two historic districts. There's a Windsor Park Historic District and then the Villa del Rio Townhouses Historic District. But actually there's a third that's Pima County. So that wouldn't be us, but it'll be our colleagues at Pima County, and that's the Mission Garden. So there are 3 National Register nominations that you'll be looking at. There's also reclassification of a property in Miracle Mile. There might be others, but those are the ones that we have identified so far.
Well, you and I work, let's look at 2 of those National Register nominations, and you'll need to make sure Courtney and Ian know that, or Scott needs to know that they need to be on if there's, we'll do that for courtesy, right? So, but let's talk about it. If we only have 1 case and 2 of those shouldn't, and if you send those to us ahead of time, because it's only 2 weeks out, right? And that might be good bedtime reading. You never know.
Okay.
And
So
yeah, we'll send this too.
Chair Terry, this is Jason. Do want to let you know that I'm looking at what's the Windsor Park Historic District. I was waiting until we got through today's meeting, and I was going to send this nomination out to all of you. That way you have time to review this nomination.
Right, but if we're going to do 2, if we've got 3 plus some possible reclassifications and we only have 1 case next time, which is a miracle, which will never happen, but maybe Desiree and I should talk about putting 2 of those 4, because otherwise we'd have to do 2 at the next November meeting, right?
Yes, we could do that. And I will say, West University is always our busiest district, and there are 3 full reviews happening next week. So, so there could be more cases coming to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But currently we only have 1.
Is the
Right,
next
but
meeting the
go ahead.
23rd? Is the next meeting the 23rd?
It is the 23rd. So, and everybody can make it?
Yep.
Yes.
I'll be driving back from Kansas City that day, but I don't know if I'll just take my MiFi and pull over in a parking lot. It's not the first time I've done that for several hours.
And then Terry, we also talked about the staff report template. So I'm not sure if you all want to review that, try to do that at the next meeting. It could depend again on the reviews.
Well, we want to do whatever makes it easy for you. So, and you guys, you just sent out some things recently, but that's the checklist. And is that the form?
Yeah, so there's a staff report template and a checklist that would accompany that. And that's for like our, presentations to you, essentially, to kind of ensure that we're collecting the information in a way that is just best for the review and best for conveying the information.
Right, but that's not the checklist, or is that the checklist that you go through when you meet with applicants or make sure applicants have everything?
No, that one we're still working on.
Okay, well, I suggest that we agendize the checklist and the summary form, whatever it is, and then everyone needs to read it and then comment on it, right? Not have an hour-long discussion, but we can look at it at our leisure, and don't you think? I mean, that gives us some time to think.
Okay,
yeah,
go ahead,
I don't know. Have you changed it? Because I looked at the one you sent maybe like a month ago.
Yeah, it's the same.
Oh, okay. I thought it was great, but I'd love to have some opportunity to talk about it and understand it better and ask questions more than just over email, I guess, is what I was.
Yeah, but what I'm thinking is, though, if we review it and think about it beforehand rather than, a few days before the meeting. Yeah, but I think we can also get some good feedback for them because it's information they're providing to the subcommittee, right? Like, have they done everything? And, you know, things have changed over the years that we get surprised by. You know, like what people think we want to see. Like, oh, I don't think you want to see any elevation. It's like,
Yeah.
really? Really?
So, right. So that they're kind of two different things. So there's the staff summary that we would be bringing to you. It's essentially like a executive summary of the project, and then a checklist that's focused more on the substantive review. So like the design guidelines, the UDC, TSM, like those requirements. And so that is a draft of it is ready. So we could look at that at the next meeting. The other thing, which I think is what you're talking about, Terry, is more of a application checklist. And so that we're still working on. I have a draft, but I think I mentioned to you that the PDSD recently created some general checklists for all applications to the planning department. So I kind of want to see, I don't want to reinvent the wheel and like create something that's different necessarily. So trying to see, you know, how do we best utilize what's already created? And
Right, but there may be a checklist. Maybe there could be something in that sort of more general one that says if your project has an H, then you have to do this, this, and this.
Right,
'Cause
exactly.
you know, because otherwise, I mean, people hate to read multiple forms, and you know, they need to
Right.
acknowledge whether they're an H or not.
Right. Yeah. So long story short, we're still working on that application checklist. But that we can bring at a different time. Like maybe we'll bring that in November.
Yeah, I think we're doing really well. I mean, these are great things, tools that you're building. So anything else then, commissioners, that you want to bring up, or staff?
Yeah, I do have, so I mentioned this at the full commission, but I just want to reiterate here. So the Fox Theater expansion related demolition at 27 North Stone is going to mayor and council on October 21st. So you can submit written comments prior to that. If people want to speak, they would need to attend in person, but they can watch online.
But we're good. I mean, we've got our recommendation, right? And that was
Right.
you're supporting that recommendation. There's no advisory board recommendation because of where it is, correct?
Right. Yeah, I just want to, in case people watch this, sometimes people watch who are not on, but they'll watch later. Members of the public wanted to put that out there. But as far as PRS, you all don't need to.
I
do
spoke
anything
to
else.
Kevin Dahl this morning on an unrelated issue, and he asked me about the Fox, and I said we wholeheartedly supported it, and he said he does too. So,
well, and we had an interesting question from Commissioner Scoville. Remember when you were talking, Desiree, and he asked you to clarify that, and that I think that, you know, I think that was okay with most people, and I'm not sure what the Historic Preservation Foundation might feel about it, but I mean, it's clear that the building won't be delisted. I mean, the whole thing won't be delisted, right? I mean,
That's right.
that's not what I'm trying to say. It would be delisted if we just saved the facade. And it doesn't make sense for what, yeah, I knew what I was saying, but it didn't come up correctly.
Right.
But yeah, so I think we're okay. I think that there's not much more we need to do, but you're going to prepare a staff report.
Yes, that's already been prepared and submitted. It just has to go through the proper channels and it'll be posted on the mayor and councils with their agenda items.
Yeah, so if anyone wants to see that, sometimes we like to see those. It just helps so that, and we appreciate you mentioning what your stance is, because it'd be awfully uncomfortable if we said one thing and you guys decided differently and we never knew. You know, I mean, the communication is the key, but I think we talked about that enough so that I don't know if the rest of you have any heartburn, but I don't.
when will it be on the agenda, the city council? Do we know?
21st.
Okay, good deal.
Of October. So it'll be posted on, you know, on the website for their meeting materials. Is it study session or is it regular?
It's just regular
Good.
agenda.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Yeah, so I can't because I'll be up in Phoenix watching the children. So I may not survive that, but if you don't hear from me, that's what happened.
Yeah.
So,
And then, if I could just mention one last thing, just want to say thank you to everyone, especially to Michael Taku. We're, as he mentioned, we're pretty much caught up on the minor reviews and even full reviews. We're on pace now. As I mentioned, the next meeting, we only have one case ready at the moment. So where that backlog has been, I think we're past it or almost past it. And he's really just worked so hard over the last year, with, being really like the only person before I came on board. And then, there's a process of a learning curve and getting as new staff start. So really want to thank Michael for his hard work, and also Jason and Johnny for both jumping in. I think Jason's been here about 2 months, Johnny maybe going on to 3 months. But they really jumped in and just started, working with probably little training because I'm also learning myself. So want to thank our staff for all their hard work.
great.
And
hi,
also,
Johnny. Go ahead.
oh yes, and also our PRS members. So thank you for, especially Andrew with, all of our backlog. It's been a lot, kind of a floodgates, right, of reviews. So really, but all of you have really helped. So thank you so much.
Well, thanks. And Jonathan, hi, we can't see you. I noticed that Commissioner Lamb is on. JJ, when did you join? Are you just lurking? Huh. I don't know did you see JJ jump on?
Okay,
there
yeah,
you
you know what, about maybe 10 minutes ago?
go. Okay, we'll say that you joined at how about 3:25? Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds about right. I actually missed what I was hoping to catch, but I got caught up in some other things and wasn't able to join earlier.
Okay, well, there'll be a recording and you can listen to it if you're so inclined.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and who needs audiobooks when you could listen to this, really? No, don't kill me, you guys. It's good that I'm not in the same room with you. But anyway, thanks again.
Terry, I guess, but thank you so much.
Okay. Oh, wait. We're adjourned at 3:38.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.